Good night to all. My name is Laura Valentina. Welcome to the conversation about the event. And Mr. N owns the Tiny Tower. Begins. Es decir, comencemos o iniciemos.
Next, I am present the English Working Group 3. It is made up of the partner, Dairon, Jefferson, Valentina, Dimitri. We continue with the company media with the first
Nadie
question.
me vaya a llamar que esta es la grabación final, ¿oyeron? Nadie.
Good evening. How are you? I hope you are very well. Today I'm going to start with the first question. The first question says, could the USA Air Force have prevented the attack? My answer is, I think that the Air Force could have prevented the attack by having a better defense system because the Air Force wasn't prepared for the terrorist attack because the enemies planned attack from the same country with the help of the same government. Air Force was weak in security, air, and intelligence national. The, the next, please. Next, please, Dairo.
We can affirm that there was negligence on the part. Eh, Good evening. I Dairo Minota, and I'm going to answer the question two. The demolition of the Twin Tower was not a consequence of the damages generated by the impact of the planes against the building structures during the attacks of September 11, 2001, nor of the deterioration derived from the subsequent fire but was caused by explosives implanted from beforehand in the building, and the question if it was demolished by explosive. I finish.
Okay, thank you. My feedback about the second question is, in my opinion, it was something confused because there was an explosion. What happened was an implosion, and the explosion wasn't due to the collision of the planes. The explosion was planned for the government. Let's continue, partner.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jefferson Mena. I'm gonna make a feedback to the first partner and the second one. For the first partner, I want to say that uh, the government of the United States could cancel the attack because, as the partner said, the attack were going to be from the same country. There were not gonna be planes from foreign countries, so they knew that the airplane system was gonna to be attacked by hijackers. Three planes four planes of the airline, American airline, were hijacked that day. So I consider that they could cancel all the flights that day in order to help uh, their country, their people. So I consider that they could offer more for the security of the people of the country and for the security of their companies if they wanted to protect United States. And the feedback for the second partner is that I consider that the implosion of the second partner made the feedback was very strange. I consider there were uh, uh, something very strange, very weird in that situation because the same government of United States did not make a deep investigation about the topic. There are 19 years the thing that thing occurred, and they've not made a very deep investigation. They've never mentioned that thing again. I don't know if they don't do it because they don't wanna remember that a very sad moment, or because they don't want that anybody talk about it because they did it. So that's a very difficult topic. I'm done with the feedback. I'm gonna talk about my question. And my question is the first one. My question is uh, were some people forewarned about the attack? Uh, I consider that we can say yes and no because the government some days ago said through media that there were gonna be a possible attack in the country. So people had to be careful on 11, 9, or 11 September. But the government did nothing to prevent with the people the attack. So I consider that at the same time the government did nothing to protect their people, their country, their biggest companies. So uh, I want to add that BBC, a very important news in the United States of America, published that day, hours before, that United States was under enemy attack. And four airplanes were hijacked from the air, since the same air of United States, the planes were hijacked and they were gonna be used against the World Trade Center, which were called the couple towers. So BBC, it is a very important news in United States, and that news are managed for the same government. So you can conclude if the same government announced it 20 minutes before, and many people had the possibility to go out of the city while BBC announced that the World Trade Center were attacked. So we can think that the government knew that the most important people and people who was always buying the newspaper were gonna leave the city, or they were not gonna be in that place at the time of the explosion. So uh, it is a very subjective question. On the other hand, we can say that they advise their own citizens and their own companies to not be there at that time and in that moment, because when we see the video of 5 hours, we can see that the United States Army, the the United States FBI, the United States Presidential Intelligence weren't in the place that we're gonna occur one of the uh, I don't know how to say dangerous attack in the story of New York, without forgetting the first one, which occurred 15 years before that attack occurred in that country. So uh, something very strange was that they forewarned people, they forewarned their country, they forewarned the, their city, but they did nothing the same day where the attack was supposed to be. They turned the radar into the horizon. The the special security of the country was in some meeting the same day of the attack. So we can say that they forewarned people. They say the people the attack is going to be this day, but maybe many people didn't believe that the attack were going to happen. Or we can conclude that the same government of the United States killed more than 3,000 people just to be able to get a certification or the backup of the government to chase one of the most looked people person, sorry, around the world, as it was Osama bin Laden. I finish.
Continue. According to my analysis and argument on the video, AK sent out United States Air Force. Yes, he could have prudent the actions because the United States had a system with wings they could delay the planes that participate in the actions. I finish.
One moment.
Okay, one moment. Excuse me. In my opinion, there were people advised about the attack, but they didn't believe or simply didn't want to do anything because the government there was planning all. Is my opinion. Let's continue.
My opinion on the question is we can say that the Pentagon was not hit be a play because the difference between ceases is inefficient. I finish.
Well, I'm gonna make my contribution about the question answered by my partner. I consider that the attacker was very weird. Uh, is incredible. Not that people didn't believe the attack were gonna happen in the United States, but that United States received a attack that uh, neither a country with a lower level of weapons uh, receive a attack like that. Is something that you can see only in movies, in series. It's something incredible, guys. I consider that people didn't people did trust the attack were gonna occur in the time that the government and the social media and media said, but they believed in their country. Byron, por favor, apaga el micrófono. They trusted in their country. That's why many people uh, didn't abandon their city because they really trusted that their country were gonna be a feedback, were gonna be a, the support that they needed to not feel that fear that they were feeling at that time. That's why many people didn't abandon the city. Something that I wanna add, I don't know if I'm going out of the center of the video, is that something special happened in Germany uh, many years before. Maybe it was another uh, century, but I want to introduce it in this opportunity because it was something very simple. When the Second World War occurred in Britain and Germany, Russia, uh, people like Hitler, people like first minister of Britain at that time, when their countries were under attack, they visited the country and they immediately started a plan, not against the enemy, but they started a plan against safety, against the possibility that lives were lost in that war. So they wanted to 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 save people's lives. They always tried. Uh, if Britain, Germany, Russia, Italy, all those countries uh, developed, but years before did something like that in that time, that weapons were not as developed as today. We ask ourselves how United States, with all that level of weapons, with that technology, how could happen something like that? How could this happen in United States? I I I think that not only us ask that question to ourselves, people in United States is they are wondering the same question. I can cross my heart even nowadays because it is incredible. It is something that you cannot believe. It is something that will break your heart every time you say it. Because if people are saying that there was a conspiration of the same country against the citizens of United States, then uh, the government have nothing to do to say that they really weren't against the people because it's something that you can see clear. It's something that is gonna impact your heart when you say you are not gonna say anything else that the government of United States was uh, in a relationship with with the hijackers of the plane that caused the second disaster that impacts most hurt people in New York, United States, in the whole world of history. So this is something that until nowadays, 19 years after, we are going to think, well, what happened that day? Uh, Something have to be investigated, but even 19 years after, we are investigating nothing because if someone sick, simply dies because nobody can put their strength against the United States government. So I finish. That's my thoughts. I finish.
Okay. Question 4. Was the Pentagon really involved in the plans? Continue. I don't think so because the record of the Pentagon tab they do night cleaning show the ocean that impacts one of the safest places in the world. That's why I think another element was the cause of the explosions in Pentagon. Okay, I finish.
Okay, my feedback about this question was the Pentagon really hit by an airplane? Um, I think it was true, but I really was hit by a plane. But I think that this wasn't what caused the fall the towers. I think that the cause of the fall tower was blamed for the government because the World Trade Center was attacked by a rocket with the help of the government. Is my opinion. Let's continue. Partner,
Hello.
did you listen?
Question 5. Could the attacks have been prevented? Understanding what is narrated in the video is the attack could have been avoided due the numerous evidence that had been collected by intelligence of the United States, where a surveillance system was ignored, being witnessed years before various attacks. Such as, for example, at the World Trade Center, the least dead and in the thousands injured. I finish.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, about could the attack
Okay.
have been prevented? My opinion is yes, they could have been prevented if the United States government had a more prepared security system. Is my opinion. Let's continue.
Okay. My name is Giselle Pacheco, and my question is, was Osama bin Laden really captured? And and the killer. Osama bin Laden was captured and assassinated on May 2 in the year 2 to say and the 11 with elite units of the armed forces called Osama bin Laden. Tinder is the confusing information revelate important contradictions about the office version of the operation. We continue with the next finish.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, my feedback about this question. Um, for me, Osama bin Laden, he wasn't captured and killed because there wasn't evidence of capture and death. I think that it was all a lie of the government of the United States. Let's continue.
Uh, I, I'm gonna make the feedback of the two last questions. Uh, First, the fifth one: could the attacks have been prevented? Of course, we've been talking about this the whole video. The attacks could have been prevented because the Air Force of United States knew that the attacks were gonna be on September 11th. I think that the United States did nothing to prevent the attacks. Uh, I don't know what they wanted to get by letting the attack to to be effective. But nowadays we can't even know it. And the the next question about was Osama bin Laden really captured and killed? I think that Osama bin Laden uh, was captured. He was killed, but there is something that the United States is always going to do with these look people around the world, like they did with Hitler or Osama, in our own country, Pablo Escobar. So uh, they maybe kill them, but they say that there is a narrow possibility that these guys are alive. I don't know why, what they are gonna get with this, but they do it. They do it this way with almost every single looked person, important looked person around the world. So it's something that we are always gonna listen in our lives. Someone was killed, someone was very important, someone was being looked for the CIA, for FBI, intelligence of United States, intelligence of any big country. They are gonna say that this person, it is a sick, it exists the raw possibility that this person uh, is not dead, that maybe they killed someone very same with that person, or a brother, or someone very very close of him, but not the same person. But I consider that Osama bin Laden was killed because United States, if they planned the attack to to their same country, was because they wanted to attribute it to Osama bin Laden in order to kill him later. I consider that if they did it this way, it was because they wanted him dead, not alive. So that's what I think uh, that happened with the success of Osama bin Laden and the World Trade Center. If you join the two cases, you are gonna have many conclusions of the success, because first, the United States have is under attack. Yeah, we can see that. Then United States
do nothing to prevent the attacks were gonna be made in the same country, in one of the most important cities of the country. Yeah, uh, New York, the same city who had suffered a very terrific attack 15 years later. They were gonna allow that New York suffers another attack that were gonna impact their lives forever, because they knew that the possibility that thousands of people died that day was very high. Though knowing that, they allow it. They they practically allowed that United States were under attack. United States uh, suffered thousands of dead people in the street. They allowed that their own country uh, felt the fear of a third world war, and we can uh, have many conclusions of this, as I said before, but we can have also many questions to these premises that I affirmed before. But anyway, we can join the attacks in New York. We can join why they didn't prevent it, and we can say why was Osama bin Laden killed, and we are going to have the same conclusion. Maybe they planned the attack to their own country. They did nothing to prevent the 30,000 deaths which there were in that time. Uh, they 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 practically guilty Osama bin Laden for the hijacks of 30 uh, sorry, 4 airplanes in their own country. So they if they guilt him about the attacks, they were gonna have all the support of the country to kill him. There were very important people of the United States uh, behind the attacks, because they needed that Osama bin Laden were killed. So that's what I consider the that happened in the United States that date. It's not something that we we can confirm, because they are not proof. There are not proof. Sorry, it's something that we can deny, because there are not enough proofs to deny to. But uh, anybody is taking their own conclusions about this topic. I'm finished.
It's confusing. It's very confusing. According to the accounts of the CIA, the security service of the United States, they need not plays a relevant role in the discovering Bin Laden. There was no confession of any prisoner that was obtained, strong torture that helped to find the courier of the founder and head of the Qaeda. There was no shooting at the house where Bin Laden lived, and stood it all. The terrorist corset was never strong in the sea And the question, Turkish question, would be, we know the truth about Bin Laden. I finished.
Okay, thank you so much. Um, let's continue with the seventh question, or no?
Mm,
Okay, the seventh question say, was 9/11 caused by the American government on purpose? Okay, in my opinion, 9/11 was caused by the American government because everything was confused. Um, and the government organized everything so that we'll believe it was terrorist attack. And because security system um, failed and everything was confusing. I couldn't be sure, but I have my view about the attack. Investigations and the other international intelligence system have shown evidence um, accusing the government, the United States, about conspiracy. Let's con- let's continue.
Opinion: the conspiracy theories argues that impossible for American government to hide part in the attack on the Twin Tower on the Pentagon. Finality.
Okay, thank you so much.
Well, uh, was 9/11 caused by the American government on purpose? Totally yes. We've been talking about this the whole for 45 minutes that we've been talking here. So I'm totally sure. I'm totally in my own position. The first one that I had when I entered to this meeting, that the government of the United States of American government had a lot to do with the attacks eh, in their same land. Uh, why? Because we have uh, almost all the proofs to to say that they had a lot to do with the attacks. We can see that the same day that they were going to be attacked, uh, they allow planes to be flying around the country. They didn't stop the the plane's flight until the four planes smashed under the targets, which were the World uh, Trade Center and the Pentagon. So we can see that until these things uh, happened, they deny the flight in that country that day. But the important things had already happened. So I consider that there was a lot to do with the government, the attacks in United States. I want to say something else. When George Bush was notified about what was happening in the country, he he almost did nothing, because if you are the president of a country, if you are the president of one of the most hated countries in the world, and you are the president and your country is under attack, you are not gonna have that expression that he had, because he was so chilled. He was he felt so care about the situation that he didn't even go, sorry, into the White House security, but he stayed in the meeting where he was when the country was being attacked. So I consider that it was something, if it was something that didn't really care the president of the country and didn't really care the security to care the president, but because they were in meetings. So I consider that it was something totally planned for the United States. That's all. I'm finished.
It's summertime that we do now. It is that we do, but it's inappropriate to affirm sometimes that we have not experienced, but there are still many unsolved questions. I feel.
Opinion. Oh yes, because today there is no prudent fighting. Let him confirm that Osama bin Laden is still alive somewhere in the world. But in there are some statements for people who claim that this character is not there. I finish.
Okay, thank you so much. I hope this video like you.
Yes.